Ron, I'm Charles Collins, and this is my wife Carol that handles the camera. Today we're going to do your oral history. We want to start with your full name, where and when you were born.
My full name is Ronald Wayne Lyon. I was born in Flint, Michigan in 1941
All right.
in November. So I was born 3 weeks before Pearl Harbor.
You don't remember much about that then, do you?
No, I don't.
What date?
November 14th
Okay.
was my birth date. So that put me 3 weeks before
3
Pearl
weeks before Pearl Harbor.
Harbor.
Isn't that interesting?
And my father fought in the Philippines
Did he?
during World War II.
Okay.
So
And what branch of service was he in?
he was in the Army
In
also.
the Army and the infantry, I assume?
The infantry.
Okay. Any particular battalion or anything that he was in?
I can't remember.
Okay.
He didn't talk about
Yeah.
it much because he got shrapnel in his legs. He was always sent out on point
Yes.
because he was colorblind and he could see through camouflage.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
really?
Oh yeah, camouflage. He couldn't see it. I mean, it wouldn't camouflage anything. He'd see right. He could see through it. So
I never knew that.
Neither did I.
and so they used him for point to try to
Yeah,
find the enemy. And
That's rather interesting, isn't it?
my mother always worried about when he bought it. He worked for Buick Motors Division, and when he'd buy a new car every year, she'd always worry about what color it was going to be because
Yeah.
What
she-
colors couldn't he see?
the greens, and he got confused on what he thought was reds.
Isn't that something? I knew a fellow in our town that was colorblind, and he painted his house purple.
Yes.
So that looked good to him. Oh yeah, that was funny.
And I went into service in 1962,
Wow.
September 1962.
Well, Ron, tell us a little bit about. You've been telling us about your dad, but what do you remember before you went to grade school?
Oh, I had a lot of allergies and everything.
Okay. That would kind of stick in your mind, wouldn't it?
Yeah, stick in my mind. I had hay fever and asthma all through grade school and everything, up through high school. I went to one of the best doctors in Flint, Michigan,
Yeah.
specialist, and that always kept me underweight. So
Mm-hmm.
that was always a problem all the way through school.
You didn't do too much sports then, did you?
I did sports up till 10th grade, and then my hay fever and asthma got to me too bad. I couldn't breathe, and enough to run basketball, and I was too skinny to play football.
You must have grew out of it or something, otherwise
Yeah.
you wouldn't have gotten service.
No, yeah, once I got to Europe, why it didn't hardly affect me at all because they don't have all the ragweed. I was in Germany for part of my time. The first part I was in outside New York City,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I only weighed 118 pounds when I graduated
Wow.
from high school, and
And you're tall.
I was 6'2".
Yeah.
I was 6'2".
Beanpole.
So I was a beanpole
Right.
growing up. So that always held me back. So I went to college for a couple of years, community college, and I wasn't getting anything out of college. So I thought I'd go into service for a while and learn some discipline
Right.
and maybe get my head on.
Well,
straight.
Ron, Whereabouts in the city of Flint did you live? Did your parents live?
Oh, we lived out in Otisville,
Okay, sure.
little town on M15, about
Yeah.
20 miles northeast of.
Northeast of Flint, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, well, I lived about 20 miles south of Flint,
you lived down around Ortonville.
Linden.
Oh, you lived in Linden.
Yeah,
Okay, you lived on the west side then.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you know the area real well.
real well. I used to work in Flint.
So did I.
Yeah. I worked at a tool and die shop in Flint called Dort Manufacturing. It was out on Dort
I
Highway.
know exactly where it's at.
Yeah.
Because once I get into the rest of the story, why I was a tool and die maker
Were you?
for General Motors
Okay.
for 36 years.
I always made 50 cents an hour more than you.
Yes, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You really did.
Yeah.
Why?
Because that's
Because
what my boss said. We'll pay everybody 50 cents an hour more than General Motors.
Because that way they get good workers.
Yeah.
See, it's all the way to get the best workers.
So what did your mother and dad do?
His
My-
dad worked at Buick, he said.
My dad worked
Yeah.
at Buick. My dad put out he worked for first he started out in parts and service, and then he became a head of the catalog department.
Okay, sure.
The catalog for all Buick cars and everything. Why, he was the head of the department that would put that out.
Hmm.
And he
Your
did
mother
that.
was a housewife? Did
My
she?
wife-
She practiced a full-time job there, didn't she?
Full-time job.
How many brothers and sisters did you
I
have?
got a sister and a brother.
Okay. So do I. Exactly the same.
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
I'm
Well,
the
I was
oldest.
the youngest.
Okay. You're the spoiled one.
Yeah. That's what they always said anyway. My older brother was just here visiting us for a week, and we had a great time. Ron, as you grew up and went through grade school and high school, what high school did you go to?
I went to Lakeville High School. It was a consolidated school system for
Okay.
the three little towns got Otisville, Columbiaville, and Otter Lake got
Yeah.
together and they made a consolidated school system.
Okay.
And I was the first 10th grade class in the new consolidated school system. Used to be quite funny when they'd have football teams and basketball teams. You had to put two from Otisville, two from Columbiaville, and at least one from Otter Lake on the basketball team, and you had to split up the football team to keep all the people
All the people
Happy.
happy.
Now, when you went to grade school, did you go to town?
Don,
or
I went to the grade school that was in Otisville.
Yeah.
was that a small school?
Yeah, that was a small
Oh,
school.
a small town.
Small
Yeah,
town.
that's why I
There's
wondered.
only back then there was only 600-700 people
Yeah.
in a small town.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a one room though.
No.
Okay.
Wasn't in one room.
Well, Ron, tell us, as you graduated from high school, did you do any school plays or anything like that during those years?
I played first chair trumpet in the band, and I was in all the high school plays. I was the head of the drama club,
All right.
and very active in that. I was on the debate team. I did all the other things that I could possibly do besides play sports because just my health wouldn't permit it.
Yeah, I
It
can
didn't keep you
understand that.
down though.
No, it didn't keep me down. I played, like I said, I played trumpet for
First
all
chair.
through school, grade school, and all through high school, and that kept me busy.
Yeah, I bet.
How did you get involved with the service? Did you were you worried about being drafted at that time? Was the draft still in?
Yeah, the draft was still in. I was somewhat, but actually I was going to college and I just felt like I wasn't getting out of it what I wanted to get out of it, and I thought I'd go into the service and I could get some discipline, and
Did that happen?
yes, it did. It
What
did.
was you studying in college?
I was studying. I was on pre-med. I'm glad I didn't go all the way through with
What
it.
got you interested in that?
My grandfather was administrator of the Yale Hospital.
Oh, wow.
And so I was always interested in the medicine. I always took, in high school, I always took all the chemistry classes and all the biology classes and everything.
Must have came easy to you.
Well, I had to work for it, but I worked for it. And
So it was kind of a disappointment to you in college?
well, it just wasn't going the way I wanted it to go. Actually, I wish looking back on it, I wish I had become gone to be a veterinarian.
Oh, okay.
And I would have done real well, I think, in studying for.
Did you have animals growing up?
We always had a dog, and I had my favorite dog, but I've always done real well and very easy around all kinds of animals, always. Dogs will just come to me naturally, and I'm very comfortable around different animals.
Well, Ron, as you got through high school and into college for a couple of years, tell us what prompted or how did you get into the Army?
Okay, I decided that after a couple of years and I wasn't getting out of it what I wanted to get out of it, why I signed up for the Army, except I signed up so I was at a missile defense site for New York City.
Oh, wow.
And when I was in high school, I'd gone through the Methodist Youth Fellowship. I had gone to New York City for a weekend. In New York City, having grown up in a small town, why New York City fascinated me.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And I mean, whole different world.
Yeah, it sure is.
Now, did you go in as an officer
No.
since you had college?
No,
No?
I went in. They wanted me to, but I didn't. I didn't. And I was at a missile defense site for New York City. You could pick where you was located in that type of in that portion of the Army. And I had the thought of going to college while I was in the service. I was always so darn busy doing other things. I never got back in school while I was in the service.
Did they give you any special training
Yes,
to go there?
I had a top secret clearance, and I took care of all the nuclear warheads and all the tools and everything for my company.
What kind of training did they give you for that?
It was just advanced training. It was special classes, and I was in at the base when we had the Cuban blockade, and we were on high alert for then. And the reason I said that I wanted to do this was I was there when Kennedy got shot, and that was a real crucial day.
Yes. High alert.
We were on maintenance. We had over my desk where I worked, we had like a traffic light, red, yellow, and green, and then I had an amber block on the bottom of it. That was when you were down for maintenance, and we had been trying for over 3 months to go down on maintenance because we needed to do a lot of testing and checking. they had been doing previously some tests and things on some of these, they were Nykerk missiles, and they had malfunctions and a couple people gotten killed, so they were trying to find out and overcome and make sure we didn't have any malfunctions also. And we were on that stand down, and I was setting them. Everybody else had, just about everybody else, the company commander, first sergeant, and everybody else had gone to New York City for the weekend. And I was the only one on base that had a top secret clearance. And the phone rang. I was doing some paperwork. I just wanted to get caught up and everything, and listening to the radio. In fact, the radio hadn't even announced it yet that Kennedy had been shot. And all of a sudden, the red light comes on, and we would periodically test that to make sure that all the lights,
all the lights were
working, they weren't burned out. And the red light come on, and I thought, well, they're not supposed to be doing a test right now. And then the phone rang, and it was a general from the SAC Air Command.
Oh, wow.
And he asked who I was, and I told him who I was, and I asked who he was, and he said who he was, and I sat up in my chair a little bit straighter, everything. And he said, did I have access to the safe there in the room right by us, right by where my desk was? And I said, yes, I do. He said for me to get out these papers, and I got these papers out. And there was a series of commands that I had to give to him, and he had to give to me, so we could validate who we were.
Oh, wow.
That I was who I really said I was, and I had to know that he really was who he said he was.
Wasn't that kind of unusual for all the top wigs to be out at the same time?
Just because we were on stand-up, we were on maintenance, and everybody went for the weekend. It was on a Friday.
Oh,
and
okay.
So it was a weekend and everything, and so everybody took the chance to go downtown in New York City.
So what did the general tell you after you got all of the security stuff done with?
Okay, he told me to arm all of our missiles with nuclear warheads, which I had control of, and to put up as many as we had not disassembled, and that we had a double perimeter gate, and he asked if there was any dog handlers still there. We had 12 different dogs and dog handlers, and the one guy just happened to be here. He could handle all the other dogs, and so he let the dogs loose on attack mode, and there was a double fence around the perimeter of the missile site, and the dogs would just patrol then when they were on attack notice. And he told me this is the part that really got to me, because I was only 22 years old at the time. He told me to arm myself with my .45, which I had, and arm myself with we had M1 carbines, was the rifles that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And he said if anybody comes to the gate that you don't know and you don't recognize, why shoot them. And here I am, 22 years old, and of course I still don't know what's going on. And then I finally came on the radio that Kennedy had been shot, and I knew why then, the situation, but it was a real scary moment.
I bet it was.
I remember that day
So do
because
I.
on the bases and stuff, nobody came on and nobody went.
Yeah.
The base locked down. No phone calls.
No.
Yeah. Well, I was standing right in the middle of a factory, and a lady announced it over the PA system.
But of course, they put the notice out on the radios in New York City, and so all the guys would know that they were to come back, and as the people came that we knew why we let them in, And but it was scary until there was somebody,
Oh, I bet.
because I'm so used to having a lieutenant or a first sergeant or company commander, you know, be in charge, and I was basically it.
Wow.
A private.
And, well, I was a Spec 4 at that time,
Oh, okay.
and but I had the top secret clearance,
That's unusual.
and I had to handle the nuclear
Yeah.
warheads, and that was real interesting because Otisville was smaller, I think, than Linden.
Yeah.
Smaller.
It's a small town, yes,
And
or was.
yeah, still is. And the FBI had to come out and investigate a background history of me to make sure that they could give me a top secret clearance. And of course, you know, a small town, I mean,
Everybody knew it.
that was the talk for weeks.
What did you do?
I was in the service right then. And
Yeah, I know, but I mean, the town people are saying, "Oh, what did he do?"
Yeah,
now?
that's what they were all saying. What did he do? Couldn't understand why the FBI was coming and checking me out. And
Now, did you have the same problem when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated?
I wasn't in the service
Oh,
then.
okay.
I wasn't in the
Quite a bit
service.
later.
That was quite a bit
Yeah.
later.
Quite
Yeah.
a couple of years, I
A
guess.
couple of years
Yeah,
later.
that's what I mean, though.
But no, that was
That was a scary time.
it was a scary time. I mean, we were at that time period, actually from '62 to '65. We were in what they called the Cold War,
Yes.
and the Cold War really was a war of thoughts and ideas. We had that constant fear. We'd gone through the era of the McCarthyism and the fear of communism, and
Well, they were quite concerned at first that this assassination was planned by another country.
Oh,
Yes.
oh yes, that's what the general
Yeah.
said. We don't know what country is going to attack us, so we were on the assumption that somebody from some foreign country was going to try to attack us, and yeah, that made it real
Yeah.
scary because we had part of our missiles torn apart like you
Yeah.
tear down a car, and we were trying to get up as many as we could and get people that could handle everything and do their job. And I was trained in part. It took a certain amount of people to man each missile and fire it, and I knew some of the lower positions. And so once we got everything, all the missiles armed and everything, why then I helped in the pits.
Did you ever ask yourself at that time, when nobody was there but you, if you was ordered to do it, could you have done it?
Could I have shot somebody or fired a
Fired
missile?
the missiles.
Yeah, I would have fired a missile. If we had a threat coming in, I mean that's what I was trained to do,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have hesitated, because that general from SAC Air Command.
Yeah.
I mean they of course I'd have got an order from SAC Air Command to fire a missile. I know, but once I had secured that phone line that I knew who he was on the other end, yeah, I wouldn't have hesitated.
Could you have shot somebody
Could I have shot somebody if somebody came
that
to the
you
gate
didn't know?
that I didn't know? If they were trying to get in, if they'd left on my orders, I wouldn't have bothered them. But if they tried to get in the gate and they weren't supposed to, I wouldn't have hesitated to shoot them. I really would have. It was a scary time.
That's something I always wondered, you know. For you, unless you knew everybody on base,
Well, I knew we had 160 guys,
oh, then you knew most of them.
and I knew all the guys. So there wasn't. It was a company. It was 4 platoons,
Yeah.
and
Well, that was quite an experience, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
You bet. And as the time went on that weekend, because this happened on Friday, if I'm not
Right,
mistaken.
right.
As it went on that weekend, you know, he was shot. He was taken to the hospital. It was probably a number of hours before they said he died.
Right.
And
By then, the first sergeant had gotten back and the lieutenant had gotten back to base.
I bet you was relieved when you came back.
Once there were some higher officers on base, yes, that was a relief.
Yeah. So
And
how long did you, was you there at that base?
I was there for 14 months, and on the plus side of being stationed there, the USO, I had a wonderful opportunity. The USO down on 43rd Street in New York City, all the theaters, all the live theaters for
Okay,
Broadway,
yeah.
an hour before the Broadway show starts, they would start at 8. At 7 o'clock, you get in line. You never knew what you were going to get, but the theaters would give the tickets to these Broadway shows.
The theater on base or
No,
off
the
base?
theater in New York City.
in New York City.
In New York
So you
City.
could go get in line and they would give the,
There was one place that you got tickets for all
Yeah,
of
it
them.
was a USO
Oh, okay,
on
okay.
40. It was on 43rd Street, and I saw Sound of Music about 4 different times.
wow.
And I saw Fiddler on the Roof,
Oh, wow.
and I saw Barbara Streisand and what was it? Funny
Funny girl.
Funny girl, yeah.
Saw her in Funny Girl, and
All on Broadway.
all on Broadway.
Did you ever get a chance to meet any of those stars?
No, I didn't get a chance to meet him. Saw Elizabeth Taylor and her husband played on Broadway.
Richard Burton?
Richard Burton
Yeah.
at that time. Can't think of the name of the play.
Oh. That wasn't that Cat on the Hot Tin Roof, was it?
I don't think so.
Oh, some wolf.
Yeah, Who's Afraid of the Virginia Woolf?
Right.
Yeah.
I saw that. And I did see Cat on a Hot Tin Roof though.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
And it was a wonderful opportunity while I was there. That's why I was always busy on the weekends, going down to see plays. I didn't have time to go to college.
Now, did you have to buy those tickets?
No,
They were
They-
given.
they-
That's okay.
Wow.
but you didn't know what you were going to get.
Yeah.
You go down and you just take, basically, you might have, if you got there early enough, you would,
You could have a choice.
you'd have a choice. Maybe you'd have 3 or 4 plays.
Now, what
It's-
kind of seats did you get? Good
Oh, we
seats?
got good, always, I never had a bad seat. They'd be Logue, or, first balcony,
Uh-huh.
or orchestra seats right down on the
Wow.
main floor. And, I, never drove in New York City unless I absolutely had to. I had it down to a science. You parked your car on the New Jersey side of the George Washington Bridge. There's a great big humongous parking lot, and they have buses that go across the George Washington Bridge about every 2 minutes, and it would cost the same price to take it across as it was to drive a car across. Trouble is, if you drove across, you had to find a place to park. In New York City, it was almost impossible without paying an arm and a leg for a place. So I took the subways everywhere.
Now, you're coming from a very small town,
Yes.
going to New York. How did you feel?
Oh, it was
Scared to death.
well, no, it was an adventure. Yeah, scared to death. Like when I go down to Chinatown, and they always walked with their hands up their sleeves. I swore that every one of them had a great big knife up. But I finally got over it.
Finally,
That was and of course you had to watch yourself in Times Square. And you had to watch yourself around the bus stations. You know, there was always people that were
Pickpockets.
pickpockets were notorious there in New York City. I had a couple try to pick my pocket a couple times. But it was a real good opportunity. And then I went to the base closed down, and they turned it over to National Guard. And because they had to go to different type of missile defense because the Herc missiles couldn't lock on.
Yeah.
Early, the planes had gotten faster, and the Herc missiles weren't fast enough to intercept them far enough out. So just before I left, we'd switched over to all high TNT. The idea you didn't shoot at all the planes, you'd shoot it at a plane in the middle of a cluster of planes.
Hoping you'd hit it.
And you're hoping you hit that one, and then that would do damage to the others.
Mm.
But we switched all over to high TNT instead of the small nuclear warheads that we had on them. But then when I went to Germany, when I was in the States, I had worked with the state police and everything. I was in charge of a NBC team, nuclear, biological, chemical warfare.
This is still in service.
Yeah, still in the service. I had all the training and everything. They sent me to special school. And so if we ever had an accident on the base, I would coordinate with the state police. And so when I shipped over to Germany, when our base changed over to National Guard, I went to a chemical company outside of Mannheim.
Mm-hmm.
And we were ninth chemical company. We supported all of 7th Army.
Wow.
We took care of all the gas masks, flamethrowers, decontamination trucks, and we took care of all that kind of stuff. And in fact, when I was over there, we had war games one time with some other countries, and I had to represent our base because I was the only one that had a top secret clearance. The company commander didn't have a top secret clearance.
Oh my goodness.
And you had to have a high enough clearance in order to be involved in these war games. So I represented our company as the chemical corps.
Not everybody did the war games then.
No, not everybody.
Oh, I didn't know that. That you had to have a higher
High, well, to set in these certain
meetings, huh?
meetings, you had to have a top secret clearance. So I had to represent our company.
So what do they do in these war games?
They say you have all these certain troops here, and you have all these things there, and you attack and you counterattack, and
Is it mainly on paper?
it's mainly on paper.
Oh.
You actually will, part of it, you actually do movement of the troops and everything, but there's no actual attack. I mean, they have sentries out and everything, just like you were in combat.
I thought this was out in fields and stuff.
Well, they do. The troops actually move around and everything, but it's mainly on paper.
Now, are you in a building? Are you in a tent? Or what are you in?
We were in a building.
But not with the troops?
Not with the troops.
Huh.
There you go.
They show all this stuff on maps and boards, and the one time why the green team was supposed to have moved all this equipment and everything, and gonna outfox the opponent. And the only thing he didn't realize is all of his trucks and helicopters have been blown up about 4 hours before that. So that meant that he couldn't. I mean, that poor lieutenant. Why was he so embarrassed?
Now, was you the only underdog
I
that
was
was there?
I was the lowest ranking. It was in that, and all I had to do was be accountable for our chemical, and
Oh,
basically we supported what they needed. Like if there was any type of an attack where they thought there was chemicals, why we had the decontamination trucks, and I was pretty. I had a guy with me that would pretty well tell me what to do.
So how long was you in Germany?
I was in Germany 14 months, and because I'd been in the States for about 18 months. I was only in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So about half of my time was, a little over half my time was in New York City. The other time because I was really surprised that I went to Germany with only having that short a time, because normally you didn't go overseas unless you had 18 months tour.
Right.
You had to had to have 18 months before you go over, but they sent us over with 14 months. There was quite a few of us that all got it, but I was so thankful, because while I was there, I got to go to Switzerland, got to go to France, got to go to northern part of Italy.
I know my daughter, she was in the Army, and she spent 2 tours in Germany. She loved it there.
Oh,
And she went all over.
so did I. I went up to Holland.
Yep.
And Amsterdam.
Which you could never have done in normal life.
Could never have done. Got to Copenhagen, so I got to go to all those places. I get there in Germany. You spend a half a day Saturday. You worked every Saturday for a half a day, and we were always having inspections in Germany, constantly. And I would always I had all my equipment all spiffy, and I'd win a 3-day pass, and that's how I got to go all over. I took over 60 days vacation while I was there. Plus my first sergeant would take a squad, and they go on and they worked with Aberdeen Proving Grounds here in the States, and they would just show stuff that was new for chemical biological warfare, and try to get the other countries in NATO to try to buy it. And so he was always gone, and he had sergeants that could run the squad and do their prospective work, but they weren't good at answering phones and working at a desk. So when he was gone, why?
Go ahead.
When he was gone, why, he'd leave me in charge, and then when he'd get back, why, he'd give me 3 or 4 days vacation.
So you got a lot of vacation.
So yeah. I got a lot of vacation, and I took advantage of it.
Did you ever get up in where Hitler's nest was?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was near it, but I never got up to it. But while I was over there, I went to NCO Academy.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Bad Tolz, and it was where Hitler's SS troops were
stationed.
stationed. And also while I was over there, I was there, that was a 30-day program.
Okay.
That was quite an experience, the NCO Academy.
Tell me a little bit about it. What did you do?
There's three aspects to it. There's map reading,
Mm-hmm.
that's 1/3 of it.
Okay.
Instructional training, being able to teach other troops on how to do things.
Okay.
And the third part was leadership. Was the third, and that's how it was broke down. We averaged probably 2 hours of sleep a night.
Oh, wow. For
Because
that 30 days.
For that 30 days.
Wow. You was a little tired when you got done,
Oh,
weren't you?
definitely. When I got back to the base, and what you did every day,
Yeah.
you get up in the morning, and you had a number. My number happened to be 144, and you could be company commander. You could be first lieutenant. You ran the company. There was a full company of us there, 160, 4 platoons, and you might be company commander. You might be first sergeant. You might be lieutenant. You might be
so they'd switch you around to different.
every day.
Yeah, every day. Huh?
Every day. You might be you might be a squad leader, and you got graded on all of this.
On how good you did that day.
How good you did for that day.
So how did you come out in the total 30 days?
I came out about fifth in our class of. I could have come out fourth. But I helped this other guy study, and I kind of didn't get enough studying done for myself because the top 4 guys got an automatic stripe back, got a promotion. They got a stripe.
You missed it by one guy, huh?
But I wanted this guy to do it because this guy was a career man.
Okay, so that makes sense.
He had been he was tank corps, and he was stationed in Berlin, and he had the Berlin Honor Guard.
Oh, wow! Yeah.
And the company commander one time when they were going to have some dignitaries there, why he was intoxicated, and so he punched him out and locked him in a closet to get him out of the way until the parade was over with. So he lost all his
Lost all the stripes.
He lost all of his stripes. So I wanted him to make it.
So you get a stripe back.
At least get started back on the right track. But I went out I got to know him real well, because we went out on our map reading exercise. The special forces, the Army Special Forces there took care of the course where we had to. And what they do is you had stakes that you'd be given a map, and you'd have a stake. It would have a letter and a number on it, and whatever courses, whatever points that you were supposed to have on your maps, why that's how you got graded and how long it took you to find them all. Well, the only problem is that there was 10 feet of snow, right?
Really?
It was in March, and there was 10 feet of snow, and about 3 of them were covered up. And this guy had been in the Korean War, and he had been a forward observer, and he'd actually called in shells so close
Yeah.
to him, and with the Korean War, why he said they just come by the thousands, and when they were attacking, so he'd call them in real close. So he said, "You learn to read a map real well, because you were telling that gunner, and you were hoping that gunner could shoot and drop a shell." And when we went out on our course, why we had two that nobody else could find for the last couple of weeks, and he looked at all the terrain and everything, the way the snow was drifted and everything, and he drew a great big circle, probably about 4 foot wide, and he says, "Dig it. We'll dig right here," and he says that stake's going to be there, and we found our 2 stakes that nobody else could find.
Nobody else could find them. Wow.
And he was able to. So I really became good friends with him. He would,
I bet.
and so I helped him graduate for
Yeah, that's quite an ability if you stop and think about it, to be able to read a map and pinpoint a stake like that, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and of course, like you say, if
But he was calling in.
they're calling in artillery,
Call.
they
from
darn
the-
well
from
better
the
have it
tanks,
in
yeah.
the right place.
Yeah, your life depends.
Otherwise, they get you.
Yeah, your life would depend on it.
Yeah.
So there was an art to it.
Yeah.
So he made a real.
So what had happened when he put this commander in the closet?
He got busted.
Yeah, I know he got busted, but why? I mean, he was kind of helping him out so that he wouldn't.
Yeah, because he struck an officer.
I see.
He
Yeah.
had to do something. Yeah, he was helping him out.
Sure.
Really. Yeah, I mean it could have been very embarrassing for the situation.
So instead of the commander being embarrassed, why he got busted.
He got busted.
That's,
And it
I
really
guess that's the Army way.
really all it was is the guy had gone out the night before and he had partied a little too much. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't make a habit of it, but he wasn't in any position to go out and be
Yeah.
in public, and so. But that was.
Yeah. During that time, did you get a chance to visit any of the old concentration camps or things like that? Where
I didn't. The only other places I went while I was over there, besides visiting the different countries, is I skied in the Alps.
Wow. I bet that was fun.
Yes, I skied at Garmisch-Partenkirchen, and that was quite an experience. We had about 3 feet of snow fall over the weekend while we were there.
Wow.
And
That's a lot of snow, you know.
that's what it was real light snow. It's not like it's not like it is here. I mean, it was real light, and it was
Is
just
that good skiing snow?
it was real good ski. You'd sink down in it a lot. You'd sink down almost up to your knees,
Oh my.
and it was hard. It was hard skiing because I was used to skiing on hardpack out of Mount Holly and stuff, and nothing like that to have that what they call it, the nice powder.
Did you ever break any bones?
No, I'd broken my ankle about 6 weeks before I went to ski because I was playing in a basketball tournament on the post, and I had a guy fighting up in the air for the basketball, and he came down on my ankle and cracked it, and but I still went skiing. I just buckled it. I wrapped it real good. I'd planned to go on this ski trip for like months, and I was finally getting it, and
And then you got hurt just before.
then I got hurt
Yeah.
just before but I still went. And something I've never seen it on TV or anything, but it got to be 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning when we went out to ski slopes to ski. why I'd come down to the bottom of the hill so I could see the town of Garmisch-Partenkirchen, and all the church bells rang at 10 o'clock, and all the people came out of church for all the churches
Oh, my goodness.
in town, and they all had their ski equipment.
They were scared.
And they come in like single file, and they came out to the ski slopes. And over there, you had to be a good skier to ride the chairlift, and the younger guys, the teenagers and stuff, they had to walk up the hill in their ski boots, and that's how they built up their legs.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was considered an honor to be able to ride the chair.
All right.
I thought everybody could ride a chair.
Well, they could, but you had to earn your right for when they. I don't know whether it was only for this Sunday or what, but the whole it looked to me like the whole town was turning out. It was quite an experience.
Well, when you came back from Germany, then where did you go?
I returned to Flint area and worked for Montgomery Wards for about 7-8 months as a salesman, and then that's when somebody told me about skilled trades in the shop and that they were hiring. This was in '66.
Yeah.
Now, did you get discharged over there, or did you come back here and get
I
discharged?
got back here discharged.
Where did you come to get discharged?
I flew into McGuire Air Force Base by Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's where you was discharged, was there?
Yeah.
So as you was coming back from Germany, that was the time that you were discharged right soon after that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
okay.
soon as I came back.
And so then you went back to Flint. Did you ever get married?
Yes.
Okay.
Married 3 times.
Oh, there you go.
Where did you meet your first wife?
In Flint area.
After service?
Yes, after service. And I applied for skilled trades. I was a tool and die maker too.
At
At
Chevrolet or?
it was called Chevrolet Metal Fab there.
Yeah.
The one on Bristol Road.
Yep.
Right across from at that time it was a Holiday Inn. And then,
Yes.
then it became, I think, a Days Inn or something. But yeah, I worked there for 30.
That was right near the stamping plant. Big stamping plant was right there too.
Yeah, that's where I worked at.
Okay. So did my Uncle Glenn work there.
Worked there for 36 years.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Well,
So did you have any kids by your first wife?
I had one, and then my second wife, I had a son by her. So I've got a boy and a girl. But then with my third wife, I got 2 other daughters. So I've got 4. I consider I got 4 kids. I don't call kids stepkids. That's taboo.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So which one had kids when you married them? Your third one?
Third wife. Yeah.
Yeah, she had the 2 girls.
Oh, you didn't have any with her then?
No,
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so you obviously lived in Flint most all of your.
Flint area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lived out in Genesee, lived up in Mount Morris.
Okay.
My sister and my mother both live in Davison now.
Okay. I have some relatives that still live in Davison.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother, she after my father passed away at age 72 from prostate cancer, why my mother just couldn't handle the house and everything, so she
I
bought
understand.
she bought a condo in Davison.
Okay. That is a huge city compared to Otisville.
Oh, yeah.
Now, was you ever injured or anything while you was in service?
No?
Okay.
Well, Ron, as you went to General Motors to become a tool and die maker, any interesting experiences there?
Well, after I got I went back to college at Flint U of M, and I got my 4-year degree.
In what?
Okay.
Of all things, urban studies.
Whatever possessed you to get that?
Well, I started with the A's. I think that was anthropology, and I got down to the U's, and I had to pick something. And, I was real good in math, but I didn't want to have to take 4 semesters of math of calculus.
True.
Right.
And I didn't feel you could do anything with a history major. So I minored in history, and I was interested in a lot of the history of the Union and everything. So by taking this urban studies class, most of the people that get to the degree, they go on to become city managers or city planners for 5-year plans.
It's more or less administrations.
Yeah, administration. And so I took the classes, and I got a lot of classes that were required that I got them switched over to things that had to do with the unions and the labor movement as a whole. And so I was kind of, I kind of tweaked the classes that I had to take.
Now, did you go to college while you was working?
Yeah.
Night college then?
Well, no, I worked second shift.
Oh, okay.
Because I was on my apprenticeship, and second shift, when you're on the bottom of the totem pole,
That's where you work, is second shift.
You work second shift. So I go to classes in the morning, and 4 or 5 days a week, and then I'd come in and go to work at night.
Yeah.
I'd take like 2 classes, sometimes 3 classes a semester, and I just kept taking them, and all of a sudden I got down to the end and was able to graduate.
So when did you come here?
I came here, I've been here 3 months now,
Okay.
and
How you like it?
I like it. I've had several mini strokes,
Uh-huh.
and my cognitive part of my brain does not deal real well with anything that has to do with stress or things that that I can't figure out. It literally shorts out, and so I came here because everything here is very structured and there is no pressure to get
Now,
anything.
are you still married?
Yes, my wife's gonna. When I retired, I bought a house up in Petoskey, Michigan, and she's gonna sell that, and she's gonna move down here closer to me here
Well,
someplace.
can't she move in here?
No. No, I wouldn't want her to anyway.
Oh, okay.
She's able. She's 10 years younger than me,
Yeah.
so she's still able to work.
So she's in her 20s yet?
No.
No.
She thinks she is sometimes.
Well, do you see your family very often?
My sister actually has a son that lives here in Grand Rapids, and she's got grandkids, and so she's weeks a lot of this past summer. She's been over to see her grandkids in sports, baseball games, swimming meets, and so forth. And so I've been able to see her, and my wife has been down twice to see me, but with the price of gas right now,
True.
why, that makes it
Yeah.
a big decision. That's why she's gonna try to sell the house. She's gonna sell it, or
Bad time.
yeah, but it's a bad time. But she may rent it out, and
What do you think, or how do you think your experience in the service helped you deal with, after you got out, with your life and how you lived it?
oh, I think the fact that when I went to that 7th Army NCO Academy, it really taught me a lot of discipline and how things are broken down by the military, and really to pass all these inspections. Why, I used to read my the Army is controlled by Army regulations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And all you gotta, and if you wanna be able to cope with it, if you having a problem, read the Army regulations. And
There you go.
and what they say, and because it becomes very logical then.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of forethought to put into those Army regulations, and they were very important to me. Like while I was over in Germany, I was always up for Soldier of the Quarter and everything, and you'd be tested on your knowledge of Army regulations and who was in charge, the chain of command and everything. And I always did real well. That was another way I got 3-day passes too. I'd win Soldier of the Quarters, Soldier of the Month, so forth. I always did real well that way, and I learned a lot from the Army. I really,
I bet you did.
really did.
Well, Ron, it's been really nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
And we'll see that you get a copy of this.
Okay.
And would you like some extra copies for your family?
The one copy will be good for now.
Okay.
If I have to get any more made, I have access to have them made. So I'd say at least the one copy.
Okay. Well, you know, we don't charge you for